to today's home hint. Today I want to talk about water sampling. In today's situation, the customer is buying an acreage and they want to know if the water is safe to drink. And I always encourage people to do a potability test. That tells you if there's any E. coli, coliform, or nitrates in the water. And the other thing I recommend is a chemical analysis test. So here's how I do it. I know that there's different ways to do it. And there's people that will tell you there's a right way and a wrong way, and there's only one way. You got to follow what the lab tells you to do in some situations. So here's what I do, basically. So if you're taking a water sample for potability and you take it through a faucet like this, you are potentially contaminating the sample because there could be some E. coli or coliforms on that. So the best thing you can do is let the water run for about 20 or 30 minutes and take it from something where humans haven't had much contact with it. It's coming directly from the well. So I like to let the water run for about 20 minutes. And then you're going to be putting it into a sample bottle. In my case, I like to send it to the Saskatchewan lab, but there's other labs. Make sure that your bottle is sterile and make sure that it has this little pill inside that keeps it fresh. Now, it's important that you get your sample to the lab on time. You have about 48 hours for the E. coli that's in here to die. And you don't want the water to get too warm either in the meantime. So that's the one sample that I do. The second sample I do is just a simple container, 1 liter container. Send that to the lab, but we don't take it from the sink here because in this case the water's soft at the sink, or it could be treated. We want to take it from a sample point where it's raw water coming directly from the well. So we're going to do that. We're going to put it into this bottle, and we're going to fill out the requisition forms that are required for each type of sample to be sent to the lab. I personally like to do this general water quality.
So you might wonder why you'd want to worry about what's in the water. Well, a lot of times I find that there's water equipment in the basement that may or may not be doing the job. It might not even be designed properly for the job. So by getting a chemical analysis on the water, it tells you exactly what's in the water. And then you can go to the water equipment specialist and say, I want to treat for these particular parameters so that we can basically make the water as good as possible. And always remember that when you're living on an acreage, you're not going to have perfect water. It's just a fact of life, but you want to get it to a point where it doesn't smell and it tastes okay and it doesn't ruin your fixtures.
Well water. So what will happen is the sample will come back in about 8 to 10 days on this one and 2 to 3 days on the potability sample. But it'll come back and it'll tell you if any of these chemicals in the water are over the acceptable limit or over the recommended limit. Of course, if anything comes back on this one for nitrates and E. coli, then you want to make sure that you do not drink the water until after you've shocked the well. That's another video I could do sometime, but it's a little more in depth. And I do have a sample of how I shock my well on my website. If you go to my website, you can type in under the search under the blog, just type in shock and it'll bring up all of the things I've written about shocking your well in the past. Again, different ways to do it, but there's ways that I do it, and I'm sharing that with you. If you don't want to do it that way, I'm totally fine with that. Everything I do, the whole reason I do these videos is to help homeowners understand a little bit more about their house. I'm not claiming to know everything, just a little bit of experience that I do have, I try to share with you. So I hope you like it. Share the video, like it, follow me on the various platforms. I would appreciate it. Thanks.